All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
ReZero Season 2, Episode 13. Wait, 13? We're at 13 already? Damn.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
boy.
Ah!
Yes. So we got the tea party.
The witch's tea party.
It has begun. And Echidna, I mean, like, let's be real.
That was an amazing monologue.
Yes, that was an incredible monologue.
Incredible monologue. Oh my god.
But, I mean, this shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. Like,
But this is a
She
this
did
is
a
scary.
good. She did a good fib. You know, she did good obfuscation and manipulation and such. But I mean,
She wants it. She wants it bad.
she wants the return by D.
Yes,
you know?
indeed.
Yeah. Yes. but, and that is a big, thick butt. Satala's here.
Sazala's here. Oh my witch.
Yeah, it is the witching hour. And Subaru, you have front row seats. Stay out of the splash zone so you don't lose your mind to insanity as a result of dying in this place.
But, all that being said, it's fine. You can just try again, now that you know a little bit more about what's going on here, maybe.
Just, maybe get out first.
Maybe.
Like, I get the feeling the
Possible.
things that are going to be thrown down in here will go beyond just words and the possible slaps in the faces.
I think it actually could end up being just words, and it's just the implication of what those words mean,
that almost
in
be
reality.
more terrifying.
Right, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we might even find out that there's a possibility that Echidna and Satsala aren't really on the best of terms.
Echidna and Satala look each other. But three-way, right? Three-way. Okay, there we go. So,
And so anime was solved forever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But y'all, without further ado, let's just jump right into this.
あなたをずっとあなただけをずっと愛していますあなただけをずっと愛し続けています
やめろって言ってるだろうがひどい未来しかなかったんじゃないのか俺以外の誰がしてくれたんだよ俺がこれまでしてきたことを
ないで苦しまないで悲しい顔しないで
お前かそれ
もっとあなたを愛して
Whoa. Whoa. And this background track.
嘆かないでだからあなたもあなたを愛して守ってあげて
俺が自分可愛さでこの方法なくしたら俺に何が残るって言うんだよ
Yeah.
俺にもっと力があって俺がもっと自分を惜しまずに一番先頭で体を張ってれば避けられたはずなんだよ
バル泣いてるのか
Baru.
泣かせたの誰だ
Oh.
あなたが私に全てを与えてくれたからです私はあなたを
Holy shit.
Oh my god! Did he bite his own tongue to kill himself?
バルは自分で選んだルパが邪魔するのはダメだ自傷も自殺も他殺も私の前では何一つ許さない
Okay.
テュフォンの味方で
Huh.
ある。
どうして気づかないのあなたが救いたいと願う全ての中にはあなたもいるべきだって
Yeah.
スバル私を助けてくれて
死にたくないよ
それが
Yeah.
でしょうが
Yeah. Whoa!
Okay.
She heal his mind?
生きる価値があるのか死んで繰り返す以外に俺に
私はあなたに救われましただから私はあなたが救われることを許します
Wow.
あなたに救われてほしいとそう願っています無謀の花嫁まで使ったのは
No!
あったのかな
Wait!
別にただ愛は
Really?
お前らは
It's complicated.
俺に肩入れする理由がほとんど理解も納得もできね
僕が君に協力すれば君は必ず救いたい人々を救う未来にたどり着くことができる。
え。俺は傷つくのが怖いよ。辛いのも苦しいのも悲しいのも嫌だ。痛い思いもしたくないし、俺以外の誰かがひどい目に遭うところだって見たくない。みんなが俺に死ぬこと以外の価値を見出してくれるのなら、俺はそれを探そうと思う。
Way to go, dude.
Ah,
Way to
俺は死
go.
ぬこと以外で
yeah.
All
気
right.
がするんだ。
All right.
それは茨の道だよ。愚かで哀れなガーフィールは外の世界を恐れている。状況の打破にはその呪縛を解く必要があるだろうね。おせっかいと負け惜しみだよ。
Oh,
Huh.
魔女たちはみんな根はいい奴らだったけど、エキドナは最後まで悪い奴だったなんて。
right, right. That would be
No good.
just untrue.
俺を死なせてくれようとしてありがとう。俺を死なせないでくれてありがとう。
It's not like I wanted to save you or anything.
ありがとう。俺はお前がわからない。
Yeah, that's the most honest.
お前が俺に
Yeah.
与えてくれた死に戻りに助けられてきたのは事実だ。それに頼りっきりにならないことが自分を愛することだって。簡単に割り切れやしねえよ。でもお前の言う通り、もう少しだけ自分を好きになってみる。
あなたが死んでしまうことを、悲しむ人がいることを忘れないで。そしていつか必ず私を殺しに来てね。
俺が必ずお前を救ってみせる。
気がつきましたか。
Hey, Otto, legend.
いつもなら中に。
縄をほどいた瞬間に。
そういや、資格のないやつが墓所に入ると拒絶されるって。どうしてこんなバカな真似。
I love you.
わからないんですか。
No. What? He's speaking to it.
Yes, I love it.
Otto, the ground dragon whisperer.
それが危ないと気づくや否や飛び出して、自分が傷つくのも構わず助け出して、目覚めて笑い
She
かける。
learned from the
そうす
best.
る相手への気持ちなんて、人でも地竜でも同じだと僕は思いますけどね。
Awesome.
Hug these two, Subaru.
俺のこと好きでいてくれんのか。心配か。ひょっとしてお前も俺のこと好きなのか。
気持ち悪いこと言わないでくれませんかね。あくまで今後のためです。
分かってる。友達だからな。
Exactly. Oh.
Okay.
資格がなくなったのか。
Well,
なんで。
you kind of turned down
Yeah, they're rejecting you.
Yeah.
どうやら私といろいろあったようだね。
他にももろもろ回収済みだよ。
だが墓所を無視するなんてやけに及び腰じゃないの。何か決着を急ぐ理由でも。
そんなもんねえよ。挑んで傷つくエミリアをこれ以上見てられない。
だからこその君だ。まさか代わりに試練を受けるのが辛いと。どうやらまだ君は覚悟の研ぎ方が足りてないらしいね。ひょっとしたら私は私の望んだ先を見られるかもしれないと。だが君はまだ覚悟のスタートラインにも立てていない。真に君がエミリア様のためだと思うなら、エミリア様の考えなど無視すべきだ。命があれば未来がある。未来があれば希望がある。希望があれば可能性がある。君はすでにこの聖域で起こる多くの問題に直面したはずだ。だが問題はこの聖域だけに限らない。屋敷を死角に襲わせる依頼は私が出したものなのだからね。
Wow. All right.
Shit. Well, shit.
Choto mate.
君は最も大事なものを選ぶことになる。一つ取りこぼせば、あとは止まらない。
Oh my god!
400年前
Same time as Beatrice.
スバル君、なぜ君はまだどうかしていない。どうかしていな。
Oh no 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 no. Oh no 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 no. Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh my
Oh
god.
no. Oh no,
君は何
dude.
一つ悪くないん
違
だ。
うんだ。試練に挑む資格がなくなったんだ。
何？
お願いします。屋敷を襲わせても無駄なんだ。
Please call them off.
誰も
Yeah.
死んでも意味が。だからどうか。
Uh-huh.
いやダメだ。むしろより必要性を強めたよ。
Oh god.
君
Wow.
が本気で望めば資格でも何でも
Wow.
変わらず君を追い詰め覚悟を研ぎ君を完成させよう。
Whoa. Oh no.
君が憎いなんてことはありえない。君は私の希望だ。私は
Wow.
期待と呼ぶべき感情を抱けるのは君とラムの二人しかいない。
Why Ram?
Oh my god.
俺はお前みたいに
All right.
俺は人間だ。人間であり続ける。
Oh my god. Oh.
どうすればどうすればどうすればどうすればどうすればどうすればどうすればどうすれば。
どうしたらいいか教えてあげましょうか。
We?
Okay.
Wait.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
So Otto.
Ah! Wait! What? Oh my god! To do everything yourself!
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah!
Alright. Alright.
Oh my god!
Hell yeah.
Yes!
Hell yeah.
Yes! Oh my god.
Whoa.
This was the first Coors like cliffhanger dramatic
Yeah.
ending. And then y'all had to wait like a season or two before
Right.
you get any more.
Like,
that's a perfect end there because
It really is.
We get three major twists this episode. First big one initially is that the witches and Satala are in some ways on his side.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
not antagonistic towards him just because he happens to not be a witch, you know?
Right. They are
They-
from his human standpoint and morals and things like that, monstrous and things like that. And he doesn't
And very hard to understand.
right, very hard to understand, not human in that sense, and he doesn't want to become like them, right? Which awesome.
Which fits in with what happens later with Roswell.
But they care about you, Subaru.
Yep.
They actually like
And they recognize in some ways the fact that you don't care as much about yourself.
right.
And what
Which
I
is-
liked about this was this turned into a freaking therapy session where they're
Uh-huh.
like, hey, if you're gonna go and do all this
Yeah.
and just be like, who cares about me? You're being kind of a coward.
So
It's like, wait, what?
There-
Oh my god, yes, let's go into this.
So this makes me think of a I can't remember if it was like a Tumblr post or like a or like a it was like a writing premise like story premise
Whatever it
idea.
was, but yeah.
But it was basically have the 7 deadly sins, encourage somebody, and basically be the ones that like give
Yeah.
their own perspectives on how
Right.
to help them solve their problems, right? And in this situation, that's kind of what they got. Because
Kind
if you
of.
think about it, the whole idea of
what
the
they
seven
did, yeah.
the 7 deadly sins is it's something that is very self-focused in some way, shape, or manner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in this situation, Subaru has been totally focusing on other people and putting himself
Right.
down, not taking care of himself. So now they're helping him stand up for himself.
Be a little selfish, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just completely not think of yourself at all. Like
You'll go crazy.
You'll go crazy.
You'll
and
break.
and you'll hurt the people around you. You know, like they care about you too, right?
And because in some ways, by you focusing on all of them, you're kind of like saying, well, I don't want to deal with the real problems.
Right.
So, yeah, it's kind of cowardly.
Because when it comes right down to it, return by death takes a toll on you. So if you say, well, I'm not dying, so therefore it doesn't matter.
Nothing carries over.
Nothing carries over.
Completely false.
It's completely false, right?
Yeah,
because
Roswell is almost an example of someone who has been broken over and over and over again,
somehow,
way, shape, or manner.
Yeah, whatever way it worked over the 400 years, you do not want to turn out like him.
No.
And quite frankly, you know, when Rem was like, hey, we could go and, you know, and live on a farm together and have kids and things like that. That's something that in a lot of ways, even if you didn't love Amelia, like even if she wasn't in the way for Rem,
right,
you might not have been actually in a place where you could do that because of the psychological toll that everything had taken on you. And you're continuing to do it. You gotta take care of yourself, boo, right? No one, because it's not just that no one else will, no one else truly can. Right? They can try and help.
Yeah, they can break through barriers of magic or whatever and waddle up to you and pick you up and drag you outside like a good old ground dragon, Patrash, and that was just so sweet and wholesome. Be like, but you know what? That's actually a rare beast right there. That's not common. Most people won't even
cherish
do that.
Yeah, I do want to say though, on the whole Patrash thing, or Patrash, I can't remember.
Whatever.
However it's pronounced. The fact that Subaru was like, you're the first person to ever, you know, truly get that through to me that you like me. I'm just picturing a meme of just Rem being like, am I a joke to you? like the turning around and being like, ooh, and it's Patrash, and then Rem is just
to be
like,
fair, it has nothing to do with Patrash's ability to communicate. It's about Subaru's ability to receive that.
Yes, exactly.
So, come on.
Yep. No, I know. I had to mention that.
Yeah, of course.
But like this was
never thought you'd be the first one I learned that from. It's not about whether or not he heard that.
That's true.
It's about him having the ability to learn it.
Yes.
And this is something that I think is why this show actually works with all of its crazy stuff going on, is that it boils down to a boy learning how to live
by dying over and over. Like and it's
pretty simple in that regard, and thus we can keep the emotional core of the show resonating really strong with everything.
And because one of the things, like ReZero gets very dark when it gets dark, right?
Yeah.
And I could easily see that being something that is kind of a selling factor of like, hey, it's gritty, it's dark. You know, we really take that whole idea of make your character suffer and dial it up to 11,
to
right?
the extreme.
You know, and then break off the dial. You know, but in addition to that, it's not just that, basically.
Yeah.
There's also these moments of wholesome power of friendship and whatnot that basically make it all feel worthwhile, right? That this is sort of what Subaru is fighting for. You know, even though there's all the struggle and the pain that he's undergone and things like that, guess what? You've got a friend in Otto and Patrash.
Yeah. And it's not just some power of friendship thing. It's like this is the core of the emotional journey, too. Like Subaru is not about which girl he's going to end up with.
Nope.
Like Subaru has grown so much just in the last 10 episodes or so, notwithstanding all the stuff that went through season 1.
Right.
To see him here realizing that the reason why he should turn down Echidna has nothing to do with all the trappings of what she's offering, or even like the risks in a lot of ways. It's just, no, I love myself too much to try and basically put all of that sacrifice on there just so that we can have this journey together.
Like, talk about that's a high grade rejection right there. Like you know, it's being honest and upfront and like, hey, you know, you do make a pretty good bargain. But no, it's not for me.
Yeah, I love myself too much to go through that.
One
of the things that is like a really rough thing with rejecting someone in that kind of regard is when they come to you in a very vulnerable place, and basically you are at a vulnerable place as well, and you have to tell them, hey, I'm not strong enough right now actually to be able to help you with this.
Oh, sure.
So I have to decline, and you'll have to get help from someone else. That is just such a powerful statement of self-love to that person. They might not be able to understand that at the time because they're in a really vulnerable place.
Right.
But that is something that is really huge if you're willing to do that, because you are not perfectly capable of helping everyone.
Right.
This is something that I would say people with those kind of savior complexes kind of have a moment where they realize, almost in a rude awakening kind of way, that
Sure.
it happens all of a sudden, and they're like, "What? Where did I go wrong? What happened?" It's like, "Oh, there were warning signs before getting to this point." By the way, so the fact that Subaru is getting this moment from the witches, is just so freaking cool. Like, so cool.
It's just a wonderful example of like villainous virtues in the fact that the witches are the ones helping him.
Right.
But also the idea that it's like, no, boo, this is fundamental stuff. We've been around for a very long time. It is vital that you get this. Like, we may be monsters in your eyes, but even we understand this. So,
in some ways, the idea that they're the 7 deadly sins, which is some kind of, religious interpretation of like all the strongest flaws of humanity, wrapped up in this pretty, picture that of course omit like
easily defined little box.
Yeah, exactly.
When a lot of them are very parallel to each other. And,
totally. But what it really is it's just saying when you combine all of them together, you kind of get a human being.
Sure.
So in a lot of ways, Subaru is looking at fragmented versions of himself, hyper idealized out to his waifu tastes,
Right.
Looking back at him and saying, love yourself. And just having that be in conjunction with the episode where he got to spend time with his family in the, illusion kind of first trial moment there. This feels so good. This feels so good. And just the fact that, again, it's not just that it's coming from the witches, it's coming from the witch who gave him this return by death power, who's wreathed in a dark purple flame and just coming out like a dark goddess. Just we're like, everything in us is screaming like, get away. But then what she's saying, you're like,
oh shit,
this is actually really good.
So this episode, I feel like it was very much a surprise to me of how the encounter ended up going.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I did not expect it to go this way at all.
Same.
But it also recontextualizes some past experiences
that
Subaru has had.
Yes.
Now, in the case of Satila, it's a whole messy complication as far as why she loves Subaru in particular.
And why he has returned by death.
And why he has returned by death.
We still have our theories and stuff, but...
Yep. But with regards to the parts where in the bad endings she has shown up and been like, aishiteru, right?
Right.
That is something where, yes, she has consumed much of the world in her magical, darkness and whatnot and things like that. In the bad endings that we got, right?
That's only happened like once.
I thought it was twice. Or no.
Satila?
Oh yeah, no, maybe it was. Yeah, no, it was just once. Right. And then there was the part with Amelia.
Because she's come to him many times with just like, like a little word or something like that.
Yeah,
and it's basically just him maybe getting close to her power and feeling her words coming to him or something.
And because Satila is very powerful, yes, it makes sense that Subaru's mind would be breaking as a result of the display of power that we got in the one time when she did catch up to him and then he used Echidna's, the handkerchief turned into a knife to kill himself, right?
Right.
But if you think about it from another perspective, taking the psychologically breaking effects of the power out of it and the things that Satila had done, he is having a mental breakdown when someone tells him that they love him.
True. Yeah.
Now, he didn't entirely have a mental breakdown when Rem told him that, she loved him.
Because his mental breakdown had already happened.
It had already happened, right? And she had pulled him out of that and then cemented it with I loved you, right?
Yeah.
But that does kind of speak a bit as far as Subaru's self-love maybe, in that he isn't willing to necessarily receive it, even though Satila, the spirit of almost all-powerful dark witch that will consume the world and,
or whatever.
Whatever. Maybe not the best place to get it from, but it is still showing Subaru's general response to it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. There you go. Yeah. Make of that what you will. But Subaru's journey here in this first half was basically learning to realize that he can love himself, that it is okay to.
Yep.
And immediately after that, he's picked up by Patrash, the little ground dragon, whose basically thing is like, hey, I'm an animal. I have the innocent love of someone that just knows, that you
no complications here.
Yeah. But they also threw in a very fun, interesting angle on this, and that makes this so Subaru can't ignore it. Patrash has some level of sentience. Patrash can speak to Otto.
Sure. I wasn't entirely sure if Otto was truly communicating with Patrash or if it was just like...
Let's just take it as
meowing
literally
at your
as
cat.
possible for the beginning bit there.
All right.
Because she said something.
I figured that was Otto just saying something to Subaru on behalf, but go for it.
Hold on. Let's assume that's at very least accurate for the purposes of the discussion here. That means that the being chose to love you. This is something that you can't ignore then, Subaru.
Right.
This has nothing to do with your self-love or whatever.
Right, nothing to do with you earning it or necessarily even desiring it.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, it is.
Like, which world line does Patrash remember? Like which parts was Subaru really nice to Patrash? Like I'd have to go back to season 1 to even remember what things are in the canon line with regards to Patrash.
Yeah, you definitely don't think to keep track of how the ground dragon has been treated in this canon time.
Exactly. Right.
Patrash will remember this.
Exactly. Yes. But even if everything has been perfect there, the fact then that at the very first thing that he gets out of this is some pet basically coming up to him being like, "Hey, hope you're okay. Hope you're okay."
Yep.
And yeah, he could just brush it off as just yeah, my dog came up and licked me. Okay, thanks. At least you like me.
Yeah.
But it's I like you. And I don't want to freaking say, don't make me say it. It's just, I like you.
Okay,
and it's just
I'll give you scritches.
The fact that in combination with Otto being there, Subaru just immediately just sheds a tear.
Yeah, and I love how quickly it goes down his face.
Quietly.
Quickly and quietly. It's just all of a sudden, whoop, and it's like, it almost feels like when you're handling a knife or something, cutting food or something like that, and then it just slips and you nick yourself, and it's like, oh, I did that, right? It was just a little cut in his emotional defenses, right? There was all of a sudden there. Darn.
Yeah.
But then after that, we get all the wonderful stuff with
Roswaal. So, we set up basically after a while now that Roswaal is at the very least doing a bit of a song and dance with Subaru.
Yes.
And he has been not necessarily, as far as we knew, up to this point, doing that much overt manipulation, but he was very much trying to set him up to help Emilia.
Right.
Primarily just Emilia. That was his main focus with how he communicated things to Subaru. But then we find out that because of what Subaru is deciding here, the mask is dropped.
Right.
Roswaal literally removes the face paint, the makeup, the mask, and just goes, well, we're not there yet.
And one of the things that I love about it is, and this is a small detail, but the fact that Roswaal has different colored eyes. Now, it's not like anything particularly crazy if he has different colored eyes. Okay, yeah, right. That's totally a thing. But the idea that is not a part of his his facade, his getup, right? The thing that he puts on, himself when he does his machinations and everything, right?
Okay,
even without it, there is like and with the candlelight, shown on his face, there are two sides to him, right? So it's and that's why I feel like the interactions with him and why he's such a good reminder to Subaru of like, don't go here, because he's not as far off as Subaru might think, right? From where Subaru could end up, right?
Yeah.
There are the two sides to him, right? The thing that he's telling him to do of protect Amelia,
seems good.
That's good. That's important, right? And if Subaru really is head over heels in love with Amelia, then yeah, I could see her being higher on his priority list than most other people.
Yeah.
But hold on now. There's limits. There are lines you don't cross, right?
Yeah.
Right. And the idea that he actually planned the hit on the mansion just to make Subaru have to choose, not even to accomplish some direct concrete goal, just to break him down, just to make him a bit more like him. Oh man.
Oh my God. I really think that he's so in on this, like he's so in this basically, that Elsa being hired to take the insignia in the first episode was him as well.
Oh,
like it just makes sense.
Okay, that's a good point actually, because if he hired Elsa here, then that means that he potentially could have been working with her all the other time, the one other time that we've seen.
The only other time. Yeah,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and in some ways it gives Amelia an opportunity to go out and kind of get stronger, build her resolve, if you will.
Well, and given that he's got his guidebook of the future,
Right. As long as he knows that there's someone out there that is a person that will guide things to the perfect future that is seen there, he doesn't need to make sure he does it the right way.
Yeah.
Like that's part of the thing that's actually made him probably really cold and disgusting, is that he's like, I am doing all this in service of this book, which is kind of like his Amelia, if that makes sense.
Right.
He's
it is his supreme entity, right? Echidna in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah. And well, he does say that, don't think you're the only one that understands Echidna.
Right.
Which is like, wait, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. Well, and from his perspective, what are you talking about? If it follows this book, that is the right way of doing things. Because that's the whole point. It's similar to Echidna's whole thing of, you'll get to that goal, that end point that you wish.
Eventually.
I'll get to that end point I wish. Does it actually matter what the methods are as long as we get the objective?
Oh my God.
I mean, really? Not a child,
It's so eerie because he's also been, what did he say, like enchanted for the last 400 years?
Mm-hmm. By her eyes, I think he said.
He says something, ever since the moment I was enchanted by those eyes 400 years ago.
Yep.
I have been insane.
And I love how he's like, no, I get it.
He's,
right?
Yeah. Because you know what I think it is he's just in love with Echidna.
Oh, sure.
It's the perfect parallel is that Subaru fell in love with Amelia.
Right.
And this is just being repeated again.
Oh, he's got his own white-haired waifu.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
oh, my God.
So there's a line in Lost where they're like, hey, you're not going insane because you think you might be going insane. An insane person just thinks they're getting saner, right?
Oh,
and that's how you can tell, right?
I mean, it's not perfect, but it
but it it communicates something.
Right.
But this is another kind of insanity.
Yes.
Where it's no, I realize, and I don't care.
I do not care.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, that, in a way, that's a kind of thinking that you're getting saner, right? It is. It's this is preferable. I know that it's crazy, but
I choose
I'll take it. Yeah. Like,
I just love that I was on the fence about Roswaal, and then also just so on the other side of no. Roswaal has to be good because we'd be totally screwed by now.
Exactly.
If he wasn't.
Yeah, if I'm a Cylon, then you're all screwed, right?
And now here we are. This is the worst of the worst timeline.
Like
this is so unequivocally bad.
I love wizards in stories. Whether you're when it really gets into the whole wizarding side of things, where they get trippy and manipulating, and because they wield ungodly power, right? And then the question is
have time,
and then they just have time.
Like he's immortal.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. He had 400 years of downtime. Do not mess with a wizard that has had 400 years of downtime, even 400 days of downtime. Like, don't do that.
Don't
right?
do that.
And yeah, in this situation, you didn't even realize what he was doing.
Nope. In some ways, he's trying to help you here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because he's actually insane.
Of course.
He's in some ways saying, "Oh yeah, I'll tell you." Mm-hmm. Oh, is it that time? Like, once he grabbed the book, I was like, oh, this is a point that needed to happen.
Mm-hmm. And the way he's lying there, like some sort of like sarcophagus or whatever.
Like he's already dead.
Right, exactly. Because, I mean, he's been alive for 400 years. He's all wrapped up in the bandages and everything to make him look like a mummy of some kind. Like, oh, man.
So, world-building things that he's kind of inferring here. Mm-hmm. He definitely serves Echidna.
Yes, absolutely.
Like 100%. Mm-hmm. Yep. So then this whole bit here in the sanctuary is his trap to set up Subaru and Emilia to go the distance.
Yep.
And they will gain strength and resolve and a stronger relationship because of it.
Yeah.
That's ultimately his goal. Mm-hmm. Now, the weird thing is that I would assume that helps Satala?
Right, but given how the witches interacted, I get the feeling that they might, like, because when Subaru came to see Echidna gave him a lot of recontextualization about the witches.
True.
It's different from the histories. Mm-hmm. Once we got to the point where we're like, okay, we think Echidna has been manipulating him this whole time, that threw into tension whether or not she was actually being truthful about the stuff that she said. It could just be a perspective that she finds truthful, right? But given how the interaction went once Satala showed up, and it didn't actually go too badly, I feel like they aren't enemies.
Who?
Satala and Echidna. They might be like play at jealousy and stuff with Subaru and things like that, but
okay, so let's run with that. If they're not enemies, then none of the witches are necessarily enemies, right?
Right, I think so, yeah.
Okay,
they disagree sometimes on what to do, like we saw in this episode.
Yeah, they're like an awkward family of sisters.
Yep.
So they all have different ways of doing things, different personalities, different beliefs, and they all understand, though, that they're each family.
Right.
Gotcha.
Kind of all that they've got,
So then this space is kind of this space is not even necessarily a place where they inhabit. This is a place where
when they wish to host somebody.
Yeah, they wish to host somebody. Have a little bit of a telepathic, just like
a tea party. Yeah. Who knows what things are like for them and their essences, spirits, whatever, when they're not in this place, needing to condense down into an actual physical appearing form in this alternate reality. Yeah. Oh, that seems exhausting.
Yeah, I really like the meta thing, though, of them being some aspects of Subaru, and the reason why they're all colorful waifus is not, and this is not at all the actual theory that I believe that this is why they're looking
more
like
of a thematic reasoning.
More of a thematic thing that just is something that maybe the writer thought about a little bit, was just that he visualizes them this way because
he desires
of Subaru's tastes and stuff,
sure.
And desires.
Well, and you could even say that if they're aspects of himself, then you could say that their physical appearance is some sort of manifestation of his relationship with that side of himself.
Right. And of course, they're individual magical entities, y'all, that represent the seven deadly sins.
Right. But what they represent in the grander story and pertaining to Subaru,
or not the grander story, the personal story. For Subaru.
Yes. Because in this situation. In a lot of ways, Roswaal going like more evil wizard and things like that is a welcome sort of breath of fresh air, because that makes him a lot more of a colder antagonist than what the witches were this episode.
Sure.
Right? Because if the witches do have Subaru's best interests in a fashion at heart, right? They do want to help him. They just maybe want to have their specific way of helping him that he doesn't want. That's a very personal kind of conflict that they'd end up having, right? And Satala even said, eventually, come kill me, right? And he's like, no, I'm going to save you, right? There's a lot of feeling in that.
Yeah.
And then we get Roswaal, who is the epitome of being unfeeling,
Right.
Right.
And he also is the one who is like trying to do the saving, but he's following the
he's simping.
He is simping, basically. That is kind of the equivalent of his thing there. He sees no value in himself necessarily. And it's just the book.
Oh man. Oh, that's so twisted.
So it's a really dark twist on basically the stuff that they've been the story has been doing to Subaru to deconstruct what it means to be the loser protagonist, basically.
Yeah.
The loser protagonist is okay because they're less likable sides are constantly used in service of others, so it's therefore okay. But the story is kind of saying like, no, you should work on yourself. You should love yourself.
You don't want to turn out like Roswell, do you?
Well, right, and Roswell is an extreme example, but I think the point is that we have seen Subaru's flaws. And we know that he doesn't love himself in the way that he could.
Sure.
Regardless of should. Just, he could love himself more. But the reasons why he doesn't are all based around a preconception that he has to do things a certain way. And this episode just basically took that and flipped it on its head. And Otto being the emotional catharsis ending for all that, where the most tertiary side character of all the best boys or girls or whatever of Subaru's squad, is just saying like, slap you in the face, like, come on,
okay.
Let me help you. Let's do this together.
The fact
Tell me everything.
Like,
it's so beautiful.
And I love how quickly it happened too, because it was almost jarring in the episode of like, wait, how did this turn Subaru around so quickly, right? I get that Otto's here and that's awesome, and I'm guessing he's going to help in some way. But like, as soon as he showed up, music changes and like there's a tone shift, and it's like, okay, how is this going to work, right? Well, let's talk.
I think there's one thing that's really important to kind of think about here. Subaru doesn't do the despair, breaking down moments in front of other people usually.
Right.
He usually tries to hide it.
Yeah, he does everything he can to not do that.
Exactly. So I think that in this moment here, he's like, oh, can't show that.
Sure.
So he was trying to protect Otto in his own way by being like, no, I don't want him to hear any of this.
Yeah.
But Otto might have literally just been following him to go see what was going on with Roswell, then follows him here to see what was going on with him. And he's like,
hey,
you were muttering to yourself about, like, with a face like someone about to die.
My dude, broski.
You don't need to hide anything, dude. Let's talk. I am so freaking excited for this second cour to be about how it's the perfect execution now.
Right. Because also, so one of the other reasons why I love what they did with Roswell, which then leads into the stuff that happens with Otto, is that the witches basically gave him a moment of clarity. They gave him a point to be able to say, hey, what if there was a better way of doing things? Right? Yeah. And he's like, okay, I agree. And then he talks to a kid and he's like, that's why I can't take your offer, right?
Yep.
Then he comes out and he talks to Roswell. Well, first he talks to Otto, right? And it's like, oh, hey, this is helping reinforce that. That's wonderful, right? And then he goes to Roswell.
Roswell gives him the exact opposite.
And he gives him the exact opposite. Roswell is the dark opposite of him, right? It's everything that he could turn into if this went very badly, if he continued down the path that he had been on before, right? And it basically threatens to undo the progress, right? Subaru starts doubting everything that he had been so sure about, right? And it's like, we are about to see some real regression here, right? And then he runs and he tumbles down the hill, down the slope to a new low, literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But then Otto comes along.
I chased you down. Followed you down into this valley.
So good. So good.
We're going to go back up together, but first we're going to talk.
Exactly.
Let's
Keikaku this Dory.
I'm freaking excited for the idea of Otto being like the one that no one saw coming.
Exactly. Like, hold on now, Subaru. I am a merchant. I've got a big thonk that I can put to use on this.
You always treat me a little bit condescendingly, Subaru.
Right.
It's a little mean, but
now you're going to see just how five-head I can be.
Exactly. And I mean, I've got Patrash on my side as well.
Exactly. So yeah,
we
we
can do
basically
anything.
already won.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's already kind of in the bag here.
Yep.
I cannot imagine what this is going to be like. My one like kind of weird theory here is is there a possibility that because of the fact that there are characters that kind of they don't exactly know what Subaru's doing and how he's iterating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they know that he's doing something like that.
Right.
Is that a workaround again for how Subaru can tell other characters that he has returned by death by having them hear other people who know about it
so.
end up slipping it?
Right. Well, because since it appears to be based on the will of the person doing it, of Subaru actually telling them, not actually about whether they can piece things together.
Sure.
You know, like this isn't Bites Zadusto, right?
No.
Even though, like,
this isn't an auto defense mechanism on intent or will or anything like that.
So as a result of that, if Otto has pieced together things more or less because Roswell was talking about it openly because he's got the book and whatnot and he's got a good head on his shoulders. And then Otto's like, all people have to do is believe Otto. Yeah. Subaru doesn't have to say anything. Nope. Theoretically, he could be like, no, hold on. Hold on. Like, Subaru apparently doesn't want to talk about it or can't or whatever.
Or also, you won't listen to him the same way because you already have these preconceived notions based on who he's been before.
But me,
Otto, he ain't got shit on me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that objective third party that can come in and be like, all right, this is the way it is.
King Garf ain't got shit on me. Yeah, exactly. But
oh, man.
I'm so excited for the next core to start. This is gonna be good.
Wonderful.
We get a new OP as well, which I'm going to.
We might even see it once or twice.
That's true. That's true. I would assume once, maybe.
Yeah, I mean you gotta show it at least
definitely twice.
No, watch. It's the new wave in anime. They just do a whole core with 27 minutes episodes
that
just like this,
common.
and they just don't do an OP.
That is not going to be common. Like not for a long time.
Yeah,
there's anything.
Oh no,
there's no way. Not until TV dies, basically.
God.
Like,
well, it'd be so hard to do because ReZero can do it because it's using all the 27 minutes just excellent.
27 minutes is more than even with OPs and EDs in it, right? Usually an anime episode is 21 minutes.
Right, well,
OP and ED for 90 seconds each.
Well,
so,
I think it's 24 minutes usually.
Yeah, so 21 minutes for the anime.
Yes.
And then 3 minutes of OP and ED.
Yep.
So this is 27 with no OP or ED.
Right.
It's way more.
Yep.
This would have been 30 minutes if we had an actual OP and ED.
Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, the OP for this core is so good. I've watched it many times.
You don't need it to be in the episodes at this point. You're just like, all right, and
I don't.
There.
I can hear it going off in my head.
Oh man,
like that drop with the
the butterflies and everything.
So powerful,
so good.
All right. Great stuff, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if ain't that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time. Otto!